Right now, millions of people around the world are being told the same thing. You have ADHD. It's the disorder that supposedly explains why we can't focus, why we procrastinate, and why our minds never shut up. But what if I told you the real story of ADHD isn't what you think? Because behind every diagnosis, behind every pill, and behind every viral TikTok about ADHD lies a dark truth. One that was never meant to come out. And when you hear it, it'll make you question not only how society works, but how your own brain was built. Stay till the end, because I'm going to share a real story of someone who discovered the shocking side of ADHD in their own life. And once you hear it, you'll never see ADHD the same way again. Quick question before we dive in. Do you think ADHD is a disorder or a superpower? Drop your answer in the comments. I'm reading all of them. A British doctor named George Still began studying children who couldn't focus or sit still. He described them as having a defect in moral control. That's right, the first medical term for ADHD basically meant these kids can't behave. Back then, psychology was primitive. The idea of brain chemistry or neurodivergence didn't exist. If you couldn't follow rules, you were seen as broken. As schools became stricter and factory-style education spread, anyone who didn't fit the mold was labeled trouble. And here's where things get darker. Society didn't adapt to human diversity. It forced humans to adapt to the system. ADHD wasn't discovered as a brain difference. It was invented as a label for those who didn't fit the industrial world's standards. The system wanted workers, not wanderers, soldiers, not dreamers. Jump to the 1950s. A company called Ciba developed a drug called Ritalin. Originally, it was made for people with narcolepsy, but doctors started giving it to kids who couldn't focus in school. And suddenly, teachers loved it. It made kids quiet. It made them sit still. It made classrooms manageable. By the 1980s and 90s, ADHD became a household term, and Big Pharma saw a gold mine. Between 1990 and 2010, ADHD diagnoses increased by over 800% in some countries. Companies launched entire ad campaigns telling parents, if your child struggles to pay attention, it might not be bad behavior, it might be ADHD. And of course, the solution was a pill. The darker truth? Some pharmaceutical reps were later caught incentivizing doctors to overdiagnose. Doctors were told that a restless child wasn't bored, they were chemically broken. Think about that. Millions of kids labeled for life, not because they were sick, but because they didn't fit the system's rhythm. Now, let's flip the perspective. What if ADHD isn't a disorder at all, but an evolutionary advantage? This theory, known as the hunter versus farmer hypothesis, might blow your mind. In ancient times, humans split into two survival roles. Farmers, patient, organized, methodical. Hunters, fast, impulsive, hyper-aware, and constantly scanning the environment. Here's where the story gets personal and painful. The education system was built in the 1800s to train factory workers, not creative thinkers. Kids who daydreamed, who questioned, who couldn't stay seated, they were punished. Today, they're medicated. 1 in every 10 school-aged children in the US is now on ADHD medication. But what if the problem isn't the child's attention? It's the environment, demanding constant control. When a creative mind is told it's wrong for thinking differently, it doesn't just affect grades, it affects identity. And that's why ADHD isn't just a medical issue, it's a cultural one. For years, ADHD was seen as a kid's problem, but now more adults than ever are being diagnosed, especially after the pandemic. Why? Because the world got noisier. Technology fights for our attention 24/7, and the traits that once helped us survive, curiosity, impulsiveness, quick reactions, now leave us overstimulated and anxious. In short, ADHD brains are drowning in a world not built for them. But when society blames individuals instead of redesigning systems, it creates millions of people who think they're broken. The dark truth isn't that ADHD exists, it's that the world profits when people believe they're broken. Pharmaceuticals profit. The productivity industry profits. Even social media profits from keeping your attention scattered. But here's what they don't tell you. You're not defective. You're different, and the system isn't designed for you. Your mind isn't meant to be chained to routine. It's meant to explore, create, and move. This is Sam's story. Sam was always the lazy kid. Teachers said he'd never succeed. He forgot assignments, lost focus, and couldn't sit still. He got fired from 3 jobs before 25. Then one night he read about ADHD, and for the first time things made sense. Instead of fighting his brain, he learned to work with it. He built a design studio that lets him bounce between ideas, create fast, and thrive in chaos. Today he employs 15 people, all with ADHD, and his company is one of the most innovative in his field. Sam says, "ADHD didn't ruin my life. The world just tried to make me live like someone else." Maybe ADHD isn't a disorder at all. Maybe it's proof that human evolution never stopped. The world doesn't need fewer ADHD minds, it needs to understand them. Like, share, and subscribe, because next week, we're uncovering another dark truth that will change how you see the world forever. Thanks for watching, and remember, you're not broken. You're built differently.
As you can imagine, a lot of adults who have ADHD feel anxious. Actually, 75% of adults who have anxiety actually have ADHD as the cause of their anxiety. Whether they're anxious or not, they know something's not right. And they'll make monumental efforts to make it right, but it's still not right. And they're usually waiting for the other shoe to drop, for everybody else to figure out they're not as competent as they appear.